started coming to the office a good, 2 months back. Yeah, means.
Oh wow. Okay.
For us, we've been very busy really. So a lot of stuff happening. So yeah. So that's what. So.
Good. We'll talk about that also. What is happening at your end? You know.
We are good to go. We are live now.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to Mr. KAPIL Chopra and all the participants who have joined us here today. Today, Tiffin Talks is actually flying off its inspiration series with a topic that is of interest to each and every professional who have gathered here today. There is life after layoffs, and I'm sure there'll be laughs as well. We have with us Mr. KAPIL Chopra, founder of EazyDiner and Postcard hotels and the ex-president of Oberoi Group, who will have a one-on-one with none other than Sourish Bhattacharyya, a noted food writer and a hospitality sector analyst. Over to you, Sourish. Thank you.
Thank you, Pavan, and thank you everyone for being part of this it is a special show for me because an old friend of mine who's also quite a hospitality industry success story. I think he was one of the youngest guys to become president of a group as prestigious as the Oberoi Group, and then he left it all to become an entrepreneur, and he could have easily earned his laurels and earned a lot of flying miles being the president of the Oberoi Group, but he chose to launch EazyDiner first, and now the Postcard hotels, which I think will not be affected by any kind of lockdowns, because driving holidays will remain in vogue whether there are lockdowns or not. But anyway, without talking too much, I would like to first ask.
Lost your voice, Sourish. I just lost your voice. Sorry. Sourish, I can't hear you.
Sir, unmute yourself.
Okay. Yeah.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now, great. Now that people can again hear me, I would invite Kapil to say a few words about the current scenario. One hears a lot about people being laid off. People, there's only doom and gloom emerging out of the hospitality sector. How far is it true, and how far are people losing jobs? And if they're losing jobs, what is the message of hope you're sending out?
Okay, so Sourish, thank you for having me on this series. The only request is for people who are joining, and I can see a lot of them are joining in right now, is just mute your thing so that the conversation is easy. Anytime you want to ask something, put it on the chat. I'm sure the moderators will pick it up and ask. Sourish, I think the situation is quite grim. And when I say the situation is quite grim, it's because of the following reasons. Because if you really look at it, I believe, just think about
We lost Mr. Kapil, so there's connection. Sir, you are on mute.
Sorry, the connection just went. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can repeat yourself. Yeah, please.
So, Sourish, I really believe the situation is quite grim. Grim in the sense that I believe that, look at city hotels today. It's June. Some hotels opened in Gurgaon. And some hotels opened across the city, but the only business they had was weddings, because the weddings dates were till 28 June, and what's going to happen in July. So I think there's been a total reset in the industry, and that reset will lead to a lot of pain. I still don't think the pain has really come in. I know some hotels in Delhi have laid off 200, 300, 400 people at one shot, but I still think there's more pain ahead, and that's the way that I look at it. Why is there more pain ahead? Because I believe hotels which were used to doing 80-85% occupancy in November will do 30-40% this year. They had a very big banqueting business. I think that business is just going to blow away and move to 50 people, 100 people, whatever. I don't think COVID's going away before September in a significant way, especially in Delhi and Mumbai. I think we'll learn to live with it, but some of the consequences are going to be very, very hard, very tough.
Right. Now, I just think, why, why do you so, why do you think that the occupancy figures will not cross 30-40% even in November, December? Is there a reason for it? What are your projections?
See, there are a couple of things, Sourish. When was the last time we did a video conference where everybody was speaking on a topic like this? I think the world has changed, and it's very important to understand the change. So meetings which are non-essential. So I'll give you an example. I have a development meeting. We signed a hotel. We had a meeting just before COVID. We signed a hotel. Now we have to go and see that. Yeah, and that hotel is very close to a very big COVID hotspot. Yeah. So even we are now thinking we have to go and sign it up for development. We're going to open that hotel in December. It's nearly, it's getting ready for fit outs. But you are still thinking, when do you go? Is it right now? I can go, but I'm not sure about my team. Do I really need to put my team at risk to take them there? I think those are the questions that everybody ask. And in that way, I think behavior has changed. If you really look at companies like American Express and all, I've already put out an advisory saying no non-essential travel before December. Do a video call. So when things like that happen, and MNCs put out advisories that travel for the next 3-4 months unless it's very essential should not happen. That's going to start impacting business volumes.
That's right.
Also, with what really happens is, the discretionary part of the economy has been challenged a bit. Okay, banqueting was a very big, if you remember, I've been saying this for the last 2-3 years. The only strategy that hotels have had till now is basically make money on weddings. So basically the community centers went away and all of that moved to luxury hotels and everybody started feeling happy. I charge this much for a wedding and I charge that much for a wedding. That's great. But what happens when that segment gets threatened in a very significant way? So the weddings, the whole segment got threatened in a very, very big way. The government's not going to come and say that, no, now you can do 2,000 people weddings in October also because COVID's gone away. Yeah, it's not going to happen. So if that's not going to happen, then what happens to all the big banquet halls that so many hotels have put up? That I've got the biggest banquet hall in Delhi and I've got the smallest banquet hall in Delhi. That entire sequence goes for a 6. Same for Bombay, same for anywhere. So banquets was driving 30% of revenues for so many hotels that I know. That's gone. That'll be down to 5-7%. So where do you get the money from? If F&B constricts so much, if rooms are going to constrict so much, especially in luxury business hotels, that's non-essential. Yeah. And also international travel will have so much restrictions. If occupancy of most of the luxury business hotels was 50% foreign or 60% foreign, that business is going to get reduced to 10-20%. So you're going to lose 30% there. Assuming if 100% of domestic travel also comes in. So from 80-85% will drop to 40, 45, 30. Some hotels may not open. So in a lot of cases where there are 2 hotels next to each other, you don't need to open. You maybe just need to open 1.
That's right.
Because to save economies of scale. So when you do that, and the hospitality industry has a very big component that 25% of your entire salaries are actually your 25% of your salaries are from the luxury set. I mean to say your payroll is 25% of revenue. So once your revenue constricts so much, let's say your revenue drops by 50%. I think it'll drop more, but let's say even if it drops by 50%. If revenue drops by 50%, then you need to drop your wage cost by 50% too.
Right.
To drop your
that brings me to 2 questions. Of course, one of course is the subject of the discussion, which we'll go into a little later. But immediately, I was wondering, what are the strategies that the hotels should, adopt in the short and the long run to, cope with the situation? I mean, obviously, they have to rethink the business model completely.
So, Sourish, what really happens is when a storm comes in, there are very few strategies that you can do when a storm is coming in. It's a pandemic. It's a once in a 100-year pandemic that's happened. Yeah. So there are very few short-term strategies. And, just because hotels have decided to evolve doesn't mean that the world will evolve with them. Just because you decided to come to the party, that doesn't mean the party is going to start. Yeah. So, I'm just reading every single hotel wants to do home delivery right now. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but now everybody wants to do an app. Yeah. Again, a great idea. But what is your app marketing plan? How are you going to get customers to your app? Do you know how difficult it is to get customers to your app? Who's going to run that app part of the business? That guy needs to think digital first.
And you know all about it.
Digital first.
And you know all about it because you've actually gone through this whole process, of getting customers to your app.
Yeah, so and also the fact I still remember, Sourish, and I'll give you an example of when I said digital first. What does it mean? So let's look at hotels. Yeah, when I was running the Oberoi, we had phenomenal growth in terms of sales and whatever and all. But even at phenomenal was what 20% year on year or whatever. Means those numbers sound like phenomenal numbers. 20, 25, 30% year on year. Yeah, I remember at EazyDiner we did this Eat Out festival the first time, like really big one, and the numbers went up 350% in a month. Yeah,
Wow.
I was busy. I was traveling for Postcard somewhere, I remember, and I came back and they changed the app. And so I'm having a discussion with my technology and product team. I said, guys, you grew 350% in the first sale that we did in a month. It's a lifetime record for me. Yeah, I've never seen something grow 350% on a very big base. It was, and the base was in lakhs of customers a month. Yeah? And on that you grow 3.5 times. So you go from 2 lakhs to 7 lakhs. Yeah. And the guys are telling me, but why are you getting upset that we changed the thing? I said, because if something's not broken, why are you fixing it? And their answer to me was, how do you know that it couldn't have been 10 times? How do you know, sir? And this was, an engineer, a lady engineer in our product department, and she's gold medalist from IIT Bombay. I still remember her. She's actually moving to Canada now. And she says, how do you know it could be 10 times? And that for me was such an amazing learning, because I was letting my earlier biases of what I perceive success to be define what the new success is going to be, which was a very, very important learning, that things can always grow more exponentially. So when I say digital first, anybody who's running these apps needs to be a digital first guy. I had a discussion with Puneet Chatwal a couple of days back, and I was telling him, I said, great initiative, but the guy who's going to run it can't be from your current system. Can't run it. They will think very differently. You need to start thinking differently, and that takes time. Just because I have now decided to join the party, like I said earlier, doesn't mean the party doesn't begin.
Right. That's a very that's a very good thought. But the problem is the hospitality sector isn't coming up with really solutions which seem to be, I mean, they're all doing the same thing. One hotel started home deliveries, all hotels are doing it, but they're not doing like, how will they keep the banqueting business alive? I've not heard anyone come up with a strategy for that. What will they do with restaurants? What will they do with surplus staffing? I mean, are these questions even being discussed in the hospitality sector? Or are they taking it like one crisis at a time?
So the challenge, Sourish, has always been, and that's been my bigger challenge. And I've been kind of saying this for the last couple of years, really, yeah. And so many talks that I've had with you also on this is that we need to get some intelligence into the sector. Yeah, we need to think about situations intelligently. So how do I know the layoffs are happening? Because my LinkedIn box is getting flooded, hundreds of CVs. People are now getting into mail. Some people are getting the number. They're WhatsApping me their CVs and saying, sir, this has happened. And actually, I've had the honor of working with a lot of people who are reaching out also, which is okay. But the whole point is, how do you expect somebody to start thinking? It's the same party question. You've never thought for so long. You've not innovated. That word which is called innovation has not really happened. So your response, it's like, if you are an animal in a cage, Sourish, and the cage is opened, the animal will stand where the animal stands because it's used to living in a cage. Now, just because you open the cage doesn't mean that the animal will start running. So it needs innovation. It needs working on. It needs thinking. I remember, at one point I used to get very upset when people never used to read newspapers because they were not aware of the world around them. And if you're not aware about the world around you and how the world around you is changing, then you have a very, very bleak future.
That's right.
And I don't want to mince my words in saying, no, everything's going to get okay. No, nothing's going to get okay. And if you've just lost your job, you're not going to get a job for the next 6 months. Okay. Unless you reinvent yourself. And that's what, and in terms of hotel innovation, hotels haven't innovated for so many years.
Right.
Yeah? So how do you expect them to just start innovating? But
Sorry.
But even times, you will see that some players will come out on their own, because at the end of the day, there are some phenomenal GMs there also who will think out of the box, who will do innovative stuff, who will read best practices, and what's the easiest way to start? Just go to Google and start saying innovative F&B practices globally, innovative F&B practices in Europe, in the US, get 10 ideas, see what works for you, implement them, fail 10 times, at least something will work. But you need to start looking at global best practices. You need to start looking at how people are rethinking their business models. Yeah.
That brings me to the question: have you come across any global best practice that has really inspired you, or like made you start thinking afresh?
Okay, so at any given time, because of the quality of talent that that conglomerates or aggregators or somebody could have, is always something amazing. Look at what's happening. So there are sites which are extended stay sites in the US. Yeah. And now I think the name is called Sonair or Sonad or something. And they're 80% businesses back. So 7-night stay. So they're selling rooms on 7 nights. So if you are at work, why don't you go and work out of Goa? You know, if you work from home, your kids can also attend classes from Goa. Why don't you go to Goa? So what's the 7-night strategy or 10-night strategy? So I don't have to. So earlier on, if the average length of a stay in a business hotel was 2 nights, if you get one customer, this is equal to 4 stays because this guy is staying for 7 to 10 nights. So extended stay strategies, extended stay rates. I haven't seen one website in India on hotels which has now started doing extended stay rates very significantly. We can at the Postcard, but because of the advantage that we are small, we don't need to. But again, I'll give you one simple thing that we did. We said, you know, if Sourish and I have to go for a break, because now we've been holed up in Delhi for 4 months, yeah? And if you have to go to Goa, then I'll call Sourish, and I'll call 2 of my other friends, or 3 of my other friends. I know all of us have followed all quarantine principles. I'll go to the Postcard hotel and go and book the entire hotel out. That's called the One Key Hotel. So we've now launching a campaign called Welcome to the One Key Hotel. There's one key and it's yours. The entire hotel is yours. Go into the pool, do whatever you want to do. It's like you're quarantined with family. But now very difficult for 200 room hotels to do one key because, you know, there are not 200 people in a family. So I think a lot of practice, but they could do phenomenal extended stay things. So my rate, for example, for ABC hotel is 12,000 rupees a night. But if you stay for 7 nights, it's 8,000. And if you stay for 14 nights, it's 7,000. And if you stay for 21 nights, it's 65. I don't know. But I haven't seen that. All I've seen is food delivery. Okay.
Or staycations.
Type of food delivery because they don't understand food delivery. So I ordered food from a luxury hotel. Okay. And the system was so broken. I didn't get the check. Then I said, can I get the check? Then they still couldn't send me the check. Then they sent me a payment link. So, and the payment link didn't work. Then I paid on it. And, you know, this is called UI UX. So user interface, user experience. And that was totally broken. So everybody wants to do that because it's easy. Chefs are there. Somebody will sit at the top. So this guy is doing it. Let me also do it. But I think you need to pay more attention to innovation. So I saw a very nice post today morning on Instagram from tablet hotels. And they highlighted all the small hotels, but 4 to 6 room, 8 rooms, 10 rooms in Europe. 20 hotels they highlighted. The top 20 small hotels you want to go and stay in Europe. Okay, because inter-country travel in Europe's opened up. I thought, so amazing. That was amazing. So if you really look at what should Taj be selling, they should be selling more of the small hotels. All their jungle lodges are actually small. What should Oberoi be selling? More of one-day villas because it's small. If that's what the market wants, give the market that. I think that's a strategy that hotels will have to do. But I still think the toughest times will come for hotels in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Bangalore, in Chennai, in Hyderabad. You're headed for the toughest time. So no matter how much you innovate, you will have to do what I call cost management rationalization. Just to save yourself. And, you know, at least I think 100 executive chefs have lost their job that I know of. Or number 2, and they could all be doing their own branded ranges and whatever else. Sometimes when you're pushed to a corner, you know, you get the best results. But people are so used to being chilled out. You see, the other problem with our industry, Sourish, is everybody's relaxed and happy in their own world. You know, and that is not going to happen. You know, I read a very nice quotation that, you know, a samurai needs to experience difficult times to be a samurai.
That's right. Yes.
You know, so from my perspective, you can't be a samurai sitting in a job and just talking about your level and your pay cuts and all. So there is a luxury hotel chain in Delhi, and their head called me and said, you know, we were told there's a 33% pay cut, but the last salary we received was 4th April. After that, there's been no salary. So I'm okay with a 33% pay cut or whatever and all also, but there's no salary coming. But yeah, there's going to be a realigning of payrolls. There's going to be a realigning of
So, you know, what will happen is now most hotels, even when they reopen, they'll reopen with, say, at least 30% of the staff gone. I don't.
More,
And
50%. Yeah, more than close to. If 30% is gone now, another 20% will go. A lot of people on this call will not have a job the next time you and I get on a call.
That's right. So now that leaves people in the industry in a state of sheer crisis. What do they do now? Where do they go?
Okay, so the first thing I'd like to tell them is that, how did you really skill yourself or reskill yourself? Yeah, just the whole point is, and I keep on coming back to that point. I did a post on LinkedIn which became very controversial. I don't post. I just did a job posting. I don't have the time to post articles on LinkedIn. Okay, but which was that I was looking for general managers for my hotel in Bhutan. Okay.
Right.
And a lot of Amman GMs got upset when I posted that actually because a couple of them wanted to apply for that position. And that was that I wanted my GMs to be under 35. Okay, they said, what a derogatory thing that people over 35 are not worth it. Even you are over 35 and all that. My point was that the skill level needed to operate my hotel as I saw it, okay, and incidentally does an average room rate of around $1,000 to $1,100 would be okay with that under 35-year-old guy because from a price point and everything and experience perspective. And I want people who are working with me always to be curious and learning. And I don't think a 45-year-old guy would make sense there. In fact, even if I was personally applying for that position, I would regret myself too. Because I don't think it would add to my learning. I think I'll get bored very soon. And I don't think I'd be able to contribute 100%. So that was my whole thing and became very controversial, went everywhere and said, God, he's now started putting an age limit on GMs and everything. And my point was, if you've been a GM for over 5 years, what's the new thing you're learning? So what's the thing? GM's very excited. My operation is bigger. I've got more rooms. Now I've got 2 hotels to handle. Great. Now I've become an area director. Great. But you've been running hotels for 10 years. So your incremental learning every day is 0.01% because you haven't actually learned any new skill in the last 5 years. So your big high is something that a product manager in a tech company would do like 3 times a day. That's your biggest high in a year. So if you've trained yourself like that, or, and because you're a leader who's setting the bar, everybody else working under you is also saying, God, that is what I want to be. Okay, let me also be like this. And how do I be like this? So suddenly when a pandemic happens, the corporate head comes to a unit head and says, listen, we need to reduce our staffing by 30%. And then it's a poker game. It's play the darts, poker, whatever you want to call it. Okay. And they take off the people and people are laid off. The sad part of that is this is the first time 25-year-old, 26-year-old people are knowing what it is to face rejection and being laid off. Being laid off is a very humbling experience.
Exactly.
It can leave you with a lot of resentment. It can leave you with a lot of negativity. So my point is, the important thing is I've only given you the bad news till now. And I generally, I'm a very optimistic person by nature.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
I tell you the bad news first. And now the good news is that the world is open. Yeah. When you work in hotels, so my daughter asked me, and she's in class 12th now, that, she didn't want to do hotels. She said, should I? I said, it's your call, really. My advice to her was very simple, and that's the advice I give to everybody. Hotels are at the apex of customer service hospitality. Yeah. What stops you from being at an Amazon, a Flipkart, an EazyDiner if there are vacancies, or anywhere else? Embrace the world, embrace the change. And if you still love hotels, come back to it. But for the next 1.5 years, just survive. Just be nice to yourself. I think that's the most important part. Be nice to yourself and say, I was caught unaware once in my life. I will never be caught unaware the second time in my life. Then take a piece of paper and write down the 3.
So how does one? Yeah.
So I'm just now giving you solutions. Write down the 3 good things that people say. So Sourish, what are your 3 good strengths that your friends feel about you? Yeah. And what are your 3 key areas for development where you're really bad? Yeah. And then on those goals which you're really bad, and be very pragmatic, ask people, okay, what do you think I'm really bad at? Yeah. And or look at people that you've idolized all your life. Okay. And say, what do you think I should be doing? Yeah? And so add those new skills. There's never been a better time to add those new skills. We've been in office for 2 months now, Sourish. After the first thing happened, we got parcels, started coming to the office. We've been really busy. And even if restaurants had been delayed even more beyond this or whatever and all, we had enough work at EazyDiner. We've launched 3 new revenue verticals at EazyDiner.
What are they? What are they, by the way?
Delivery, We launched delivery as a vertical, creating a marketplace at 25% of the commission that Zomato and Swiggy are charging. Yeah, at only 5%. They were charging 20%. We've created a takeaway vertical because if you're at a mall, you want to take away. Okay. Also in COVID things, maybe you don't want a delivery guy to touch the food. Okay. So you go and take it away. It's your call. Whatever you want to do. The third vertical is live table. In restaurant automation is such a big business. How can we make restaurants more efficient? Means if I was to ask a simple question for people listening to this or whenever they listen to it, can you reach if you have 1 lakh customers who've come to your hotel, can you reach all of them in 30 seconds? Starting now, if I tell you now, and you don't have to run to a computer, you don't have to do this. If you haven't reached that level of automation, you're not going to be successful. And the guy who reaches that level of automation, the hotel company which reaches that level of automation is going to kill it. Because he will keep on talking to the customer. Hi Kapil, we got a great biryani festival on. After 3 days, hi Kapil, this weekend we're doing some great kebabs. Okay, I will keep on coming to that guy. But if you haven't built those systems to be in 30 seconds, you have to tell your PR department to design a mailer and send it, and you have to call your creative agency or you go to your GM for approval and all. You're finished. You're dead. So I think so. If that as a hotel, if you still got a job, make sure you do that. I always say when money talks, bullshit. If you can make the money, whatever you're doing everybody will say, wow, what a great genius. Yeah.
Right.
So make the money talk. But most important personal development goal for people who have been laid off or people who are sitting at high salary. So understand that your salary benchmark has been reset. So I know of, general managers at 1.5 crores. I know of executive housekeepers at 40 lakhs. I know of executive chefs at 60 lakhs. Okay, this has to come down by 50%. It will come down by 50%.
There'll be a course correction.
There'll be total course correction. Yeah. Until unless you made yourself so valuable, which is also possible, that you make yourself so valuable to the company that the company says, God, I can't run this hotel without Sourish. God, I can't even dream of doing that. Okay? But otherwise, most of the people in hotels have been sitting like, a cat has come, take the cat as COVID, and they're sitting like pigeons. Okay. But closing your eyes is not going to make the problem go away. Okay, you got to embrace it. You got to look at what your development needs are and actually work. And those development needs need to be tangible needs. Okay, which can be monetized. There is a perceptible difference in your profile, your learning, and the contribution that you can make.
Right.
Hewlett Packard had a very nice ad when they launched. They launched in 1939 out of a garage. And one of the most powerful 10, if you go to Google, you'll get the 10 rules of the garage. But one of the most powerful rules of the garage was contribute full stop every day. So you got to be saying, are you contributing to your own learning every day? Or if you're still in a job, are you contributing to the hotel or whatever you work with every day? I think that's the key.
That's it. I think it's very, very, very interesting that you've even mentioned the Hewlett Packard ad, I didn't know it was such an old company. That brings me to a question which a lot of people are asking, that are you going to see a lot of rationalization of positions, For instance, say this is something, we talk about because being journalists. Now, every hotel has a PR manager, for instance. But if there is, say, a Taj or a Marriott, which have like 9 or 10 properties in the city in NCR, can they just have one PR manager or one PR department which looks after all the 10 hotels instead of having 10 PR departments look after the 10 hotels? It's like this. There's rationalization everywhere. Like do hotels need hotel managers and general managers, or can there be a cluster general manager and each hotel have its own individual hotel manager? So what are the kind of rationalization schemes or policies do you think that will come into place in the next 3 to 6 months?
So, I think it's about essential and non-essential to the core of the business. So the hotel manager will lose his job because the GM needs to keep his job. Yeah, so that's the first thing that's going to happen. The second thing that's going to happen is, of course, there'll be rationalizations. If all the hotels are going to go do 30% occupancy, maybe one GM can look after 3, 4, 5 hotels also. Yeah. And if one of your hotels is going to be closed, and if as a general manager, your hotel is not opening, you're actually you're at the mercy of the company to keep you as long as they want to keep you. And I think companies have gone wrong in a lot of ways, really, Sourish, and which I think they could have done better. So corporate jobs really haven't seen too much cuts in India. Everybody's kind of kept their jobs. Yeah,
You're right, exactly.
Yeah. So where I've seen the cuts are happening is the worst sector. So when you saw all these migrants going, I think a lot of hotels were also responsible for those migrants, because in those migrants were dishwashers working in hotels. In those migrants were also your gardeners working in hotels. So what most of the hotels sometimes did whenever it stuck was they took out the third-party contractual workers out. That's criminal. You took out the lowest denominator guy out, and the directors were taking their salary shamelessly. And people were declaring dividends and making statements like, we're not going to take our salary, but your dividends running into crores, man. So a lot of, but that's very characteristic. On the other side, I do charity beds on hospital beds. So, look at Delhi has 40,000 people who've recovered from COVID. Yeah, and out of the 40,000 people, we can't get 100 people to donate their blood to help the patients. But that is how sometimes selfish we can be. And in a lot of cases, a lot of companies have been very selfish. A lot of companies have been very good too. But I think the contractual job should have been protected first. And whenever a big pandemic like this happens, I would have even gone to a level to say, what is the grocery allowance you need to keep it going? Because I'll give you a real example. So my driver used to work at a hotel earlier. Now works. He's got 3 kids. What if I was to tell him, thanks boss, ये COVID हो गया, EazyDiner का भी revenue कम हो गया, Postcard की भी hotel बंद हो गए. Now आप थोड़ा सा घर बैठिए, क्योंकि drive करने की जरूरत ही नहीं, मैं तो घर पे बैठा हूँ. Okay. So what would happen? I'm threatening the future of the next generation of Indians. Yeah, these 3 kids, they are the future of this country. So we have throttled, contractual workers, which is absolutely pathetic in my opinion. And that shows the short-sightedness, the stupidity of some hotel companies. I don't want to name them because we work with them also, and and if I name them, it's a monologue. I'd rather have a discussion with them when I see them and say what a bad job they've done on how to manage people. And most of these hotels were doing these stupid videos. We are feeding the homeless. After creating the homeless, you created the homeless, and then you're feeding the homeless, and you're posting these great videos to feel good that you've served 300 meals and all absolutely rubbish, ridiculous in my opinion. So I think that was the wrong thing. I think more jobs should have been cut at the corporate level. I think the 50% pay cut should have come much earlier. Okay, with a 50% pay cut, more people could have been accommodated. So I'll tell you what we did. At Postcard, we did not take any jobs. At EazyDiner, we did not take any jobs, but we did cut salaries. Yeah, and we cut from the word go. We started cutting from March because we knew what was going to happen. Yeah, but at least everybody has food. At least nobody's been laid off. Okay, I don't know whether that's a great strategy or not, because as a top performer, if your salary is lowered as compared to the other guy, there are different connotations to it. But that was our strategy, and maybe it's wrong. I don't know. But that's how we decided to play the game. Said, okay, and I got everybody in a team. I communicate with my team every 10, 15 days on a call, wherever they are, personally. And I say, well, that's what it is. And we are talking to them. We have some people on leave without pay, but that's less than 10% of our entire workforce, which is also out of which 50% actually already come back in May and June.
Which brings me to one question, that a lot of hotels have been employing really young people, people between, say, 20 and 25, 26, maybe 27, and a lot of them are going back home. Or they have already gone back to their, hometowns, and they are lost to the industry. I don't know how big is this loss, but also, what do you think? Are hotels going to lose this pool of young talent, because of this COVID crisis?
So see, what's happened first is all the guys who are passing out this year from hotel management colleges.
In fact, that's one question which someone has asked, in fact,
so all the guys passing out from hotel management colleges, how will you get a job? Because if hotels are not able to service the current level of employees, how will they hire you? So, so that's only going to keep on getting delayed until some hotels start picking up. So from our perspective, the way that I look at it is people will come back because, finally people need to make money and learn more and have a career. And also understand when you're 26, you got another 35 years of working ahead of you. So you got to be investing in the future. So people will come back, but yeah, there could be some alignments where people move from hotels to some other industry, which was already happening. It's not that it's not happening, but there are some
which industry do you think is the right place to go to for a
any service-oriented industry. So you really look at what's really doing well today. If you're in sales, you could be working in education tech because that's doing well. If you're in sales, you could also be working for any of the e-commerce players. The e-commerce players are less impacted than anybody else. You could be working for FMCG players. The FMCG players have not been impacted at all. ITC, Nestle, Britannia, no impact. Still doing very, very well. There are enough jobs in those places. But again, the point of did you invest in yourself? Did you learn more? Did you add new skills? So when you're walking into that interview, why should I hire you? Because now the bar for talent has gone higher. Because there's so much of talent available. So whatever got you a job earlier, and when people would jump jobs, I'm going here because I'm getting 5,000 rupees more. I'm going here because I'm getting 2,000 rupees more. That's gone. So now it's the other side, but that's I think the balance of nature. Things always flip from one extreme to the other extreme. So I think that's what's really happened. So in a lot of cases, I think that's going to happen.
So now you said that you keep getting the CVs from one of the, I think the people who are worst hit are the restaurant managers or even the hotel managers. Executive chefs being another category badly hit.
Head of F&B.
Head of F&B. Now, what do you advise to these people? What kind of jobs do you ask them to look out for? Or what kind of skills they must acquire in this period?
Okay, so if you're a restaurant manager, it's a customer service job, really, yeah. So you could be really looking at why can't you move to sales, because you've always servicing customers, yeah. So in the meanwhile, why don't you move to sales? Why don't you learn new selling skills and kind of start moving into industries which are in sales? Why can't you move to training for some time, because you've got some great customer service skills? How can you train organizations to be more customer responsive? But easier said than done, because there's a lot of competition in that segment too. And the other point is, even if you are at home, I met an executive chef the other day and I said, why don't you launch your range? Why can't we have 100 chef-led virtual restaurants? Sorry, sure, just do 2 bowls a day. Just do 2 bowls a day. Create, there's a company called Spoon Rocket, which did only 2 balls, 1 veg, 1 non-veg. That's it. Simple mise. Ship out 25, 30 of them out of your home kitchen if you have to. Why do you need to go and work for somebody? People have got so used to a paycheck at the starting of every month. I think it's a great time to experiment. Easier said than done, but that's the only option I see really for people to experiment. Even if you're a restaurant manager, there's so much you can do. Just look at it. I've with EazyDiner, the Instagram channel, I've attended so many talks, and I attended both the sessions with Ankur, the bartender, and Chandu. And I learned so much on beverage after them. So I actually use their tips now whenever I'm making a drink at home. But just look at it. These guys have kind of created brands out of themselves. Yeah, they've kind of become brands. What stops a good restaurant manager from becoming a brand, from becoming a brand himself? But it takes effort.
If you see the background of Yangdu, for instance, he's a guy from Darjeeling who came to Delhi, and he was telling me he lost his first job in 6 days because he entered into a fight with his manager or something. Like it was like a physical fight, He said with great difficulty, I wasn't arrested, So that's how he started his career in Delhi. Today, he's the bartender of the rich and famous of Delhi. There's no big marriage that doesn't happen without him, So there are a lot of these cases of reinventions, And Yangdu also did a great job, Which he left to become an entrepreneur,
Yeah, so it's not about, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. And that's also very clear, because entrepreneurship has to be intrinsic. You can't be saying, I'm going to do this for 1 year, and then when the industry recovers, I'm going to go back. So it's got to be intrinsic. So if you're going to love it, because entrepreneurship is tough. It's very tough. So you got to be loving it. If you don't love it, you'll 90% of the chances are you're going to fail, and you're going to fail very badly. But it's like I said, it's about reskilling yourself. It's about asking yourself some hard questions. I remember, a lot of people ask me when I quit. But I was at Luxury Travel Mart in Cannes, and there's a gentleman called Hemant Mehndi Ratta, used to be Senior VP Sales for Leisure. And that day at 12, I had a press conference to announce Marrakesh, the Oberoi Marrakesh, the Oberoi Alzora and the Oberoi Sukhvilas. So I was going to announce the 3 hotels in the press conference in Cannes. And then in the evening, we had a big party at a 1-star Michelin restaurant to say thank you, because we'd won the best hotel brand in the world, and announcing these 3 hotels. So nice party to cap it off in Cannes, yeah. And I remember in the morning, both of us were staying opposite each other's rooms, and I said, okay, let's have a cup of tea together. So we were sitting in the room before we go to the fair, and we were having a cup of tea, and I told him, I said, hey, I think I'm done. He's saying, what's wrong with you? You got a press conference? You're hosting a cocktail here, in the south of France. What's wrong with you? And I said, from me, and that was 2 years before I would finally quit, Sourish. But for me, whatever I had to learn, I had learned. So I was not learning anything new. And there's nothing wrong with that. My mother worked for 30 years in the same job. Yeah. But in the new world, it's not about that you should start quitting jobs, but I think you need to be very scathingly honest with yourself on learning new skills. There's a big gap. I think the entire hotel industry is suffering because they didn't evolve faster. Imagine if this pandemic would have happened and you are evolved people, you've read so much, you've done so much. You've got 6 industries waiting to say, oh man, thank God, Sourish, you don't want to be in hotels anymore. Please come and join me. But it's the other way around, because all you did was worry about ये hotel कहाँ खुल रहा है और मेरा level क्या है और मैं क्या करूँगा इसके बाद और मेरा वहाँ पे जान पहचान अच्छी है, मेरा boss वहाँ चला गया, मैं भी उधर चला जाता हूँ. Well, that's a short-term strategy that's hurting you.
Right. So, what are the, are there avenues for reskilling yourself? Say you're a general manager, for instance, you're 45 years old. What reskilling do you do at that age, Or, I mean, of course, one can reinvent oneself at any time, in any point of one's career.
You can. So, I had a 54-year-old lady join me in EazyDiner. And EazyDiner's average age is 23. Yeah. Her core competency is organization, and her core competency is communication. Yeah, but she's never handled a role. You know what is the role she's doing at EazyDiner? She's a sales analyst. Because her core competency is communication, and her core competency is organizing herself to the T. She's the best analyst we have. And all I need to do is teach her how to analyze it. That's about it. But what's the bigger challenge that we had in the last 4 years on sales analyst roles was everybody was fickle. We had IM guys, they would work with us 3 months and say, I'm getting an offer from McKinsey, now I'm going to go there. And they were not organized. They wanted to do only the nice part of the job, which was make spreadsheets and make graphs, but not fix the basic problems. So what were her 2 big advantages? We use those 2 big advantages to our strengths. So what are your 2 big advantages? That's why I said, write down your 3 big strengths. And on the basis of that, sell it. General managers are great people running P&L. You look at DLF. All hotel GMs are now working for DLF. Correct? Just get it.
Exactly.
DLF hiring criteria is if you be the general manager in a hotel, we'll hire you.
Right.
So how come all real estate guys are looking for you? Correct?
Right.
But now real estate opportunities are also in the dumps, but real estate will still recover faster than hospitality. Yeah?
Exactly.
No matter what people say, there'll still be a recovery. So again, that's it. So a lot of people actually went out of hotels and went to co-working jobs. Okay, at WeWork, at CoWorks, wherever, whichever works they call it. Yeah. The point was, all of them went because they got 50% hikes. Did they deserve those 50% hikes? No. They rode the market wave. But when the market crashes, it crashes that wave back. So now you are 50% lower or 60% lower, like you went 50% higher. So that's the rule of any market or any market dynamic related situation. So that's I hope I've answered your question. So if you're 45, what are your key strengths? Leverage your key strengths. As a general manager, you could be anywhere. You could be in any FMCG company. You could be in any e-com company. You could be in any aggregator. Means who would not need a good GM who understands F&B very, very well? Okay. And the whole point is it's for the next 12, 18 months, and then take a call because you're a new individual in the next 12, 18 months. I believe in the next 12 to 18 months, things will get better, significantly better,
That's right. Yeah, so that, of course, may be a very reassuring thing for a newcomer coming out of the class of 2020 of hospitality management institutes would like to, keep in mind. Because, they are really seeing nothing in front of them. It's like the end of the road for them.
No, not really. So really, I was attending a talk with the founder of, I think it's called Mindspace, Mind App, something, yeah? And very nice. And he said, whenever he used to go to pitch to venture capitalists, they would ask him, what do you think is the total addressable market? VCs like asking this question. What is the total market How much of that market we own and how much can we capture? These three questions are the favorite investor questions. Yeah. So, and he said very nicely, he said, and I told the investor, anyone who has a mind is my total addressable market. So if you think you have a mind, then you are in my market, because then you need to relax, you need to de-stress. Everybody who has a mind can get stressed at one moment in life, and that's my total addressable. So that means 7 billion people in the world are in the addressable market. Now, some of them may not be able to come on board. They don't know the app. They don't have the money to buy the app, ABCD. But that's a total addressable market. People passing out right now is, do you think people will stop going to restaurants? The answer to that is no. Yeah, let me not say it because I'm running EazyDiner. Let me tell you, Dubai, if everything goes well, EazyDiner in July will do more than it did in Jan. Okay,
wow.
And Dubai is still 500 COVID cases a day. Okay, we have a small operation there, but 500 COVID cases a day. Dubai has already recovered close to 60 to 65%. Already done. Yeah? And it's hot in Dubai right now. It's very, very hot. In spite of that, yeah. So it could beat January numbers, which is a pleasant weather month in Dubai, and half the things are not open in Dubai. Half the restaurants haven't opened. So to my class of 2020 passing out now is, will people start eating out? If the answer to that is no, then you have a great career. Food services is a $61 billion market. Yeah. If you decided to be a movie star, that's a $3 billion market. Yeah. If you wanted to be in hotels, that so many of people out here are, hotels is $13 billion market. So restaurants and F&B combined is a $74 billion market, guys. It's not going to go away. It'll shrink by 50%. Then also it's 10 times, 12 times more bigger than Bollywood. If Bollywood's not going away, don't worry, you're not going away too.
Exactly.
So there is enough hope. But, let's now look at it very positively. Yeah. Let's look at what is 3 months, 6 months in a 20-year life period or a 30-year life period, guys. You are in a very tough situation. So enjoy that situation. It's not easy for me to say it also. Our revenues went away too. All the Postcard hotels have opened today as I speak to you. 3 hotels in Goa, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan are open. Like Bhutan opened last Sunday. Okay? Sri Lanka opened yesterday, and Goa opened today. So I
think Goa has opened itself to tourism now. I mean, they were supposed to make the announcement.
So I understand. So, my point is, I had zero revenues for 3 months, but am I looking depressed to you? Am I looking morose to you? Am I saying, God, everything is dead? No, it's not. As long as you can adapt, what's your new strategy to adapt? So it's not that. So for the class of 2020, great future, bright future, don't get disheartened. We know the appointment letters are delayed, but it will come back. It will come back. Things always come back. They do.
And maybe they can use this
lesson.
Sorry. Can they use this opportunity to reskill themselves, or
Of course. What are you doing? So there's a very nice quotation by Naval Ravikant, who's a thought leader. And Naval Ravikant says very beautifully that the best teachers are on the internet. Okay, the best articles are on the internet. The best knowledge is on the internet. Yeah, and it's all free. The only thing that is scarce is our willingness to learn. So you don't become reskilled because you did one online program from ABC University or whatever. Right? Okay, that will add value too. Okay, but all there on the internet. What are the top 10 books that you read? One of my top questions when I used to interview management trainees for the Oberoi Group were, give me 5 cabinet ministers and 5 chief ministers. People will struggle to answer that. And these guys were coming for the interviews for a management trainee in a program, and they will tomorrow be the leader of people. So that's not going to work, because the job pool has shrunk. If you have to strike out now, there's a Chinese saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years back. The second best time is now. When I say now, the moment this call finishes, ask yourself the questions how you can reskill yourself, and what are the new things that you can add. And trust me,
I think a lot of people who get into hotel management think that they don't have to read. But I've seen really successful hotel management professionals. You are definitely one of them. You guys read a lot. You are always on top of the situations. You attend a lot of seminars. I'm sure you must be attending a lot of online, like you attended Yangdup Lama's cocktail making classes, Ankur Chawla's classes. You must be doing it all the time. Is this something every young person has to do now?
There is no shortcut. If you don't read, then just make sure you keep your boss very happy. because there is no other way you're going to keep your job. Not today, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. There are a lot of people who do that, but just do that. Then that's easier if you don't read, because you're not going to evolve. See, there are two things only which can take you out of the current state. I'm sitting right now in Gurgaon in my office. Yeah, what are the two things that can add to my dimension of thinking or whatever I'm doing in life? The two things that can add to my dimension of thinking or whatever I'm doing in life is reading, because I learn from the experience of Satya Nadella or a Bill Gates or a Steve Jobs or a Elon Musk or whatever they're doing. Okay, or if I'm reading philosophy, I learn from that. Okay, so reading can take you to a different world which I'm not exposed to. The challenges of Microsoft in selling the software in the US. Oh, I'm not selling software in the US. So how will I learn until I read? The second thing is travel. How would you know that in Spain nobody eats at 9:30 because Spain's a bit like India, the only country in Europe which starts eating at 11 p.m. in the night, unless you haven't been to Spain. Yeah. So travel and reading are two things that can change your life. Now you can't travel because of whatever the circumstances are today. But definitely read. That's easy. Let's start reading. Start reading anything that you like. Start reading what you like. Ban Netflix. Watch it. Watch it as a de-stressor. And there is no other stress right now. So stop smoking. Start getting a bit more fitter. And start reading.
I think this is very important, because I think young people are not reading, and they're losing out a lot on information, and without realizing that now in this age we are living in an information age, and information is power. And I think it's a very good message you've sent out.
Ideas, Sourish, ideas come to you when you read. So the way when I did Postcard hotels, what was my inspiration? How many Amman hotels did I had I stayed at? So my inspiration was Amman, One and Only, and Six Senses. Yeah, because all of them changed the way people holidayed. Yeah, so I read about them. I read about what they did, and then the financial structuring. I gave you three inspirations, but what's the common thread among all three of them, Sourish? That the company they built, all three of them, whether it was Saul Krosner, Adrian Zekar, Sonu Shivani, they lost control of the company they built.
Exactly.
So that means the company was not structured well financially. So if I would have read it, how would I figure that out? I don't know any one of them. I know Sonu well, but I don't know. I've never met Saul Krosner. I've never met Adrian Zekar. Yeah. So my point is inspiration, but what's your feet of? Where's your feet of clay? If your feet is of clay, what is that part? So I then, when I made Postcard, I built it from a financially sound platform. I hope so. Okay, that we never have to sell out. That we hope not to sell out.
Right, exactly.
So, we don't have to sell out, and we can actually keep the company, and we made it for the long term, because we said, for me, the choice was very clear between EazyDiner and Postcard. With both of them was that EazyDiner could make a significant contribution to the food and beverage ecosystem of this country. We could use our learnings to really make it more robust, everything. So when people pass out in 2020, 21, 22, whenever, they feel food and beverage is a great career to be in, which I still think it is. Okay. And Postcard was to create a new way to holiday and create a new luxury brand out of India, which was really global. And that's why the whole idea to go to Bhutan and whatever. And you'll soon hear about a Europe announcement from us. In a significant Europe announcement. Just waiting for
we were all waiting for it till this COVID thing happened. Now it brings me to two questions which have come up. One is that how will people get the confidence back to resume going on vacations? Because I'm seeing a difference between say people in America and people in India. In India, people have even stopped going to restaurants, whereas people in America are going to restaurants as if they're going out of fashion. Or people in Europe are going to restaurants again as if they're going out of fashion. So that's one question. How do hotels and restaurants get back the clientele? Is it by being very thorough with cleaning standards, sanitation standards, and letting the world know that they're doing it? The second is, obviously, it looks like it's a student who's done it, who's written it. He said that, look, most of the jobs, you get it on the basis of a CV, and, how can we, tell from a CV whether the person has those extra, skills or the special skills that makes him or her stand out from the rest of the competition? So these are the two questions
Okay, so
Like you to
sorry.
address.
So
Yes.
what was the first one? Sorry, come again.
Well, the first question was that how do we get people to come back to hotels and restaurants? At the moment, they are very diffident
Okay,
about even going to
that will,
restaurants.
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. So again, it's a
Yeah.
bit too early, huh? Sorry, it's already happening. So let me give you some real numbers on EazyDiner. I'm seeing tripling week on week. This is the third week. It's
Okay.
tripling, but it's not going to go back to what it was straight out. It takes time. It takes time for confidence to come back.
So are
But
people
confidence
going
is
out
coming back.
or are people
Yes.
ordering in?
Oh, yeah. No. So, all this, first of all, hotels need to understand one thing. Let me give you a basic number. So delivery volumes by orders are down 85%, not 70% as people are reporting. It's 85. Ask anybody. Ask the guys who are delivering, कितने order deliver करते थे और आप कितने करते हो, वो आपको जवाब देंगे. आपको कोई media report पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है उसके अंदर. Why? Because when people are scared, they are scared to go out and to order at home also. There's
Right.
only 15% people more who are not scared to order at home and saying, "हाँ microwave में खा लेंगे."
Right.
So when it recovers, both will recover.
Right.
Okay? Delivery will recover first, but when I say it will recover first, it will only recover 30 days before eating out does. Yeah, that's the only difference. So when restaurants are jumping hoops to launch delivery service, I'm saying 80,000 rupees to a lakh delivery service, man, what are you going to do with it? That doesn't even cover any cost. Means you're just feeling happy about it. And what happens when your business comes back? How will you prioritize a in-restaurant order and a delivery order? Nobody's thought of that.
Right.
They don't have to think about that. They will think about it when the problem comes.
Right.
You're saying, oh God, now the guy's shouting inside. Should I give him first or should I put the delivery order first? Because the guy's standing saying, I need my order. Yeah. So but again, we will come to it when it comes to that. So I think it's going to come back. It's already coming back. Like I said, I am seeing 100% growth week on week, including today. Before I got on the call, I checked the numbers. 100% growth week on week, but it will take time. Okay. And let's understand, our F&B business is concentrated critically in 3 cities. Majority of it is Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. And Delhi and Mumbai are the worst impacted cities globally due to coronavirus.
Right.
So if you are staying in Delhi, to go out is actually maybe not the right time, maybe in 15 days, 30 days. But in Gurgaon, for example, the restaurants open, you can start going out because Gurgaon only has 80 cases a day. The guy is in totally control of the situation. He's made 14 more containment areas. He's really doing a great job. So, Gurgaon can go out and Goa can go out and Bangalore can go out. But I'm not too sure if Delhi and Bombay can go out right now. It's still going to take some time.
It's going to take, but it's not all doom and gloom. I mean,
No, it is not.
Yes.
So, this is, for us, it's been a great time to reinvent ourselves, to really look at our processes. Like I said, we've added 3 more new revenue streams, which I would have never been able to, in case whenever it happened. And I don't think at EazyDiner we've ever been more stronger. And the reason for that is very simple. And the reason is we've got 3 more revenue streams. We've become leaner. We were always focused on profitability. So our competitors who are more well-funded than us are not going to be able to raise money because they were always a bit more frivolous with their money. So it's now profitability too. So it's okay, really. I really cannot complain too much about the situation. But the situation from a healthcare perspective, from an economy perspective, is going to be very grim again for the next 12 to 18 months. And I cannot look at my company in isolation and say, have we lost money?
I can.
Yeah. So
Right.
I think that's also there.
Right. So now, talking about this problem with job seekers have, how do you make your, CV talk about your additional skills? How do you make yourself?
Yeah, I see that question.
Shine
In today's
through
time,
your
a
CV.
candidate is only considered based on what's written on the resume. How do they get the real opportunity? So the point is, I've seen more CVs than Raghav, who's written this question to me, has. And I can tell you, you see it, boss. For people who have read many CVs, I can tell you that you can see a good CV from a bad CV. I can tell you what a bad CV looks like. A bad CV goes into 6-7 pages and you've only worked for 2-3 years. Okay. A bad CV is getting the address wrong. So, on some LinkedIn, because, the people are doing mass mailing right now, they're actually addressing me as some other name also. So then I realized that this is a bad approach. This guy is not even wanting to approach, but he says, "अच्छा ये 15 नाम है, इनको लिखना है मेरे को आज रात को, ठीक है, job के लिए, और कल रात को मैं और 15 लोगों को लिखूंगा." So that's a bad example of a bad CV. Okay, but a good CV will strike out. It will strike out. But if you've only done the normal things, it won't strike out. No, but if you've really done special things, trust me, I've seen enough CVs. A CV speaks. You just need to make it the right way. You just need to highlight your skills the right way. And your skills need to be a bit different. You'll see. If you speak Spanish, French, German, if you're multilingual, you think you won't strike out? Okay, simple line, just saying how many languages you know. Because for me, that shows that you were that you like to experiment. That means you're more valuable in the entire approach that you have. Full disclaimer: I can't speak any foreign language to save my life. Okay, but I'm just telling you how I read a CV. So maybe I wouldn't have got hired times. So that's why I decided to become an entrepreneur. So.
Well, that's very interesting. Now, as we sort of come to the end of a discussion, one question that it's a bit technical, like it's about the relationship between aggregators and the restaurant industry. I think we are hearing a lot of restaurants are developing their own apps. The impresario restaurants just announced that they have announced that they're going to have their own app for deliveries and takeaway orders and for reservations. A lot of hotels are planning to follow suit. Now, what does a service like EazyDiner have to offer in this scenario, and how do you plan to? Because this is also a challenge for you. How do you plan to get out of this situation?
No, it's not a challenge at all. So you got to look at it. It's not either or, it's and. Yeah, so it's not either or, it's and. So the day I start giving you more than 10% of your entire business that you have, you should be curtailing me actually. You should never allow anybody to become more than 10% of your business. So that's a rule. Yeah, I won't allow you to become more than 10% of my business if you are a hotel company or a restaurant. You should not allow me to become more than 10% of your business. But till you've reached 10% of the business, are you using us effectively? What is EazyDiner? What is Swiggy? What is Zomato? Everybody's an aggregator. What are they? They're platforms. You should do your own thing. So when I run Postcard hotels, I run a website, called postcardresorts.com. I love direct business, but I don't have to pay anything on the direct business. I love it too. I'm a supplier too. Okay. But if booking.com was to come to me today, Sourish, and say, hi Kapil, I know you've opened today. Okay, I'm sure you don't have any rooms today. Of course, I don't have any rooms today because the government only gave today permission today morning to open the hotels. Okay, but Kapil, if I can send you 10 rooms tonight at a good price, but I'll charge, and that charge could be a bit higher. Sourish, what do you think my answer would be? The entire F&B business or the restaurant business has good margins. Yeah, margins are not that bad on a good day when you get customers in. So my answer is going to be of course. Okay. But when I got my own business back, let's say post the 15th of July or post the 10th of July, as I'm seeing traction right now. Okay. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to reduce the number of rooms that I'm giving to booking. Earlier on, I was giving 8. Now I'll give 6. But for me to say, no matter the hype around Postcard resorts and how sexy they are, and they are small, so in the right space, cut the hype, cut the clatter. I do not have the reach of a booking.com. It's a $65 billion giant. Yeah. And so my point is, why don't I use you to fill up my restaurant, because I need to pay wages too. So work with me, work with booking.com. So I'm doing that. So is it a good move by restaurants to have their own app and have their own delivery fleets? 100%. They should. Because, just think about it. A lot of these aggregators were not sharing data with restaurants. Why did restaurants agree to that? Why did you agree to be a commodity? That's when the first no should have come, saying, boss, it's my food. People are ordering from my restaurant.
Exactly.
They're not ordering from ABC. They're not ordering chili chicken. Kisi bhi restaurant se bhej do yaar aap. They're ordering chili chicken from my restaurant. If they're ordering chili chicken from my restaurant, if they're ordering fettuccine Alfredo from my restaurant, then you better tell me you're ordering. Why? I was so surprised when this happened myself. I said, like, really? Means if booking.com tells me, I'm not going to give you the email address of the customer, I'm not going to give you the customer name, customer A will come. I'm going to say, no, I'm not wanted, because that may be very nice in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to be a very big loss. So, people and careers are both built for long term. So that's the answer to that. So use it to your benefit. If EazyDiner you think benefits you, use it. If you don't think it benefits you, don't use it. You got your own route, travel your road. So that's what it is. So I don't think there's a fight ever.
It's not either or, it's and. I think the power of 1 plus 1.
It's a distribution platform. When you're budgeting, you say, okay, I'm going to get 20% people from my app. I'm going to get 10% from EazyDiner. I'm going to get 30% walk-in, and I'm going to get 30% repeat. That's my 100%. That's what you need. Instead of saying, no, inske through nahi lenge, because what will EazyDiner take? It'll take around, on an average, it takes 6 to 8% of your bill or whatever, yeah? Means you still make money with the customer from there. Yeah. And that's how we try to keep it very different from other aggregators which take 20%, because that will be your final margin. So if you take 20%, the business starts really coming down. I could never understand that part of the business also. But
so you have, in a way, you have
everybody.
revolutionized this thing by charging 5%, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think that will become the industry norm, or
I do not have
some people like
because my point is I do not have delivery costs. And my 5% is the discovery cost. What does it take? So yesterday, a restaurant in South Mumbai, sorry, not in South Mumbai, just in Mumbai, messaged us, very, very prominent restaurant, and said, we just got 2 delivery orders from you tonight. The first 2 orders that came in, because we just made it live in Mumbai like this week. Yeah. And said the APC of those orders is 10x of what we've ever got from any other delivery guy. Because the customers are nice. And my point was, earlier on, I was letting Sourish go out and order in spite of him being my customer. Now he's getting it on the same platform. So that customer is using. Do I want to be the maximum? I don't want to deliver 1 million orders. No, I don't want to. I just want to do a nice job of it. I want to do it with good restaurants, good hygiene level. And that's what we want to do. And we believe the cost of discovery should not be more than 5%. That's whether we are right or wrong, that the market will tell us. Whether Zomato or Swiggy or any other aggregator reacts to it, that the market will tell us. But I don't know. Some people are saying it should be 1%. And I'm saying it never makes sense. Again, you want to do 1% makes sense. Some people are giving it free. Great. Things for life which are free, never make any long-term sense. I think, sorry, the bigger part is whether it's a career or a business, you need to have a 10-year plan. You need to close your eyes and saying, where do I see myself in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? And then you got to be true to that plan. You can keep on changing it as you keep on achieving your targets, but you need to be sure. And I think that's where businesses go wrong, because they start thinking very short term. Okay, so, I've had, my team at EazyDiner was telling me they've been having negotiations, 4%, 5%, 4%, 5%. I'm saying, if I was if Booking.com, for example, comes to me and says, we charge 15%. Yeah, Booking.com, for example, charges Postcard resorts 15%. And I said, couple for July, 18%. Take it. I'm empty. The day I start filling up, I'll make sure that the allocation for direct customers is more than your customers. It's as simple as that. I'm a supplier too. So, but I have to use the might of Booking.com, because their reach is absolutely amazing. So
that's right.
And also the fact that they're aggregating the bank. So I tell people, a lot of people who say, do we really need EazyDiner? And I'm saying, we run the dining program for, we work with American Express very closely for the dining program, with Citibank, with IndusInd Bank, with Axis Bank, with HDFC, with SBI, with ICICI, which just launched something on delivery with us yesterday. Okay, if you can reach these banks directly, you don't need us, boss. But just go and do an alliance. If they'll do an alliance for one restaurant of yours, sitting somewhere. So I think people, use what is to your benefit, and don't use what is not to your benefit. Run your business this way. So there is never what I call a fixed position in business. Like at the Postcard Hotel, I work with Make My Trip, I work with Booking.com, I work with Expedia, I work with Luxury Escapes, I work with everything. Why not? Why shouldn't I? But when I have to do my revenue management, I will see which part of the business I need to take if I'm getting sold out. So on 30, between Christmas and New Year, rooms will only be available on postcardresorts.com. Yeah? And if you want Booking, the suite may be still available, because again, because of the bigger reach that Booking has, it can sell the suites at a higher price. So that could be there too.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, that's something I think the whole industry should sit together and just think. I mean, they have the time to now go back from their present hard positions, and come to amicable solution like this.
I think they are. I think, but it's very, what I really like it, and it's a very contradictory statement. I like that the restaurants are trying to, control their future. That's important too. That's important.
Like you said, that they just gave away the data without even thinking twice about it.
Because people are not ordering a generic dish. That was criminal, in my opinion. Means they shouldn't have ever done that. Means you should have data. Customer is yours. If the customer is ordering a generic dish, then the customer is not yours. But if the customer is ordering chili chicken or fettuccine Alfredo from your restaurant, the customer is yours, not the aggregator. And that's why at EazyDiner, we share all information. We tell you everything. This is Sourish, this is email address, this is number, because he wanted to buy from you. I'm not violating any privacy laws. He wanted to buy only from you, sir. Here are the details. If you think so, you can reach Sourish and do a business with them, do it. That's okay. People will come to us because it's easy. They're used to it. They get great bank offers too. They earn loyalty points. They'll come to us. Okay. If you think you can do it, do it. Good for you. I'm very happy.
So, I mean, very interestingly, there is a lady, Yeni Triayung.
Yeah, Yeni's she's in Malaysia. Hello, Yeni. How are
Malaysia. She said she worked with you for 14 years. So please, shout out to her.
Hello, Yeni. How are you?
Good to see you. Where was she? Which department was she in?
She was the head of spa.
Oh, I think I met
You
her
met her.
once. And she had said a very at Trident, wasn't she?
Yes. Yeah, you did.
And she had told me what Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah.
How everyone wanted to massage him, and they had to literally do a draw of lots to decide who to do it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, she's really a nice, pleasant lady, and nice to see her listening to you and to us. Yeni, thanks so much. Okay, very good to have you from Malaysia. And so we come to an end to a very interesting discussion. I think I've learned so much from this 1 hour that, I wonder whether I will be able to absorb all the information and process it. Luckily, our conversations are also on YouTube. And, so anyone who wants to go back to this conversation, please go to YouTube to go.
Don't waste your time.
I'm sure people will be loving it, and we're getting very good responses from your old colleagues.
Worked with a lot of people. I'm really old, yeah, Sourish.
Pavan and Ruchin, you want to?
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank Kapil and Wilson.
Oh yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kapil sir. This was very, very insightful. I think we couldn't have asked for a better person to flag off our inspiration series. We're going to keep on evolving with the times. We are living in the real time, but like you said, we all have to embrace ourselves. I would now like to invite my partner in crime, Vachin Kohli, just to say a few words before we end this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you so much, Kapil sir. Well, this is Tiffin Talks Inspiration Series, and I thank Mr. Chopra and Mr. Sourish for taking us through such an insightful session on the hospitality and F&B industry. I'm sure all the participants here today have got something that they can take back and prep themselves up for the coming times. I'd also like to thank all the viewers who have joined us here on Zoom and Facebook live feed. We'll be putting the video on our YouTube channel by tomorrow. Tiffin Talks is a joint venture of Wishbox Studio and Occasion Experts. So guys, stay tuned and we'll continue to bring the inspiration series your way. Thank you again, Kapil sir. Thank you, Sourish sir. Thank you. Take care and be safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye. See you soon.
Keep on rocking and stay positive. Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for that.